Hey everybody, welcome back to the Dungeon Dive. Daniel here. Alright, tonight we are going to be taking a look at a game called Twisted Fate, Cowboys versus Aliens. This is a game from Play Now. Now you might recognize them from the people who made the History Maker golf game that I purchased and reviewed. They liked the review and they thought that this game might be a good fit for the channel because it is a little more of a thematic game than a golf game. And so they sent me a copy for review. And this says that it is a story game of unlikely encounters. I wouldn't say so much as it is a story game, but I would just say it is a thematic dice game. I think a story game is a little misleading in that I guess you are kind of reliving a story, but that usually has a very specific meaning that you are like creating a story. But this is very much a kind of a dice game, kind of like History Maker Golf is a dice game. But in this game, you are playing as a posse of cowboys. And you will have a number of different cowboys and they can be equipped with a number of different items, weapons and ropes and dynamite and dogs and different kinds of health potions, different things to help them fight against a series of aliens. These aliens have invaded their hometown, and in order to win the game, you have to successfully defeat 3 different aliens. And so the way that works is you're going to shuffle up your alien cards at the beginning of the game. Oh, you also have this, this is your little chart here where you're going to keep your aliens. There's a little track where this is your little village, your town, and the alien is going to be moving up on this town. If the alien ever gets to your town, that is one way to lose. Another way to lose is this is the alien's health track. If the alien ever gets all the way to the top of this health track and then heals for one more, it becomes too powerful to defeat, and that's another way you can lose. And the third way you can lose is if the alien kills all of your cowboys that are out on the table. The ways you can win are you have to kill 3 aliens in a row by depleting their health, or you can also cause the alien to retreat off of the cliff face and it dies that way, or you can add up a number of conditions. There are 4 different conditions and we'll take a look at those, and if any single one condition gets more instances than the alien's difficulty level, then you can perform a single kill shot and kill the alien. So there are a few different ways to win, a few different ways to lose, and now let's kind of see how that plays out. So you're going to shuffle up your monster cards here, your alien cards, and you're going to flip one over. And this is going to tell you the strength of the monster. So this is a threat level 4. This is the 6-legged monolith. That also means that that alien is going to use 4 blue dice for its attack when it attacks you. And you're going to take a health marker and you're going to put that on the 4 spot there to represent its health. Then you're going to take a die and you're going to roll it to find out where on the town map, the town track that the alien is going to start on. The higher the better. 4, okay, so that's right there in the middle. So he's going to start right in the middle of the track there. Better than a 1 or a 2, which he would start closer to the town, but not as good as a 5 or 6, where it would start closer to the cliff edge there. And then you're going to take your cowboy cards here, and you're going to shuffle those up, and you're going to deal 7, and you are going to hope to get some good cards. This is kind of where a lot of luck plays. There is quite a bit of luck in this game, but there are also some pretty crucial decisions that you're going to have to make. So, all right, so let's draw our 7 cards. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the way the cowboy area is set up is you're going to have 3 different rows, basically. You're going to have a row of active cowboys, and those are the ones who are participating in the fight, and they're going to be equipped with gear. And then you are also going to have a row of cowboys in your reserve, And those cowboys down there, they will not be attacked by the alien, but they also cannot participate in the combat. But they also get a chance to heal if they have any damage. And then finally, you're going to have a row of unused gear or supplies that you can tap into during a replenish phase. So let's see what we have here. So if we didn't have any cowboys at all, we could pull a mulligan and draw 7 more. But we have a cowboy here, Beautiful Smith. He's smart, he is courageous, and he is strong. Okay, that's pretty good. We have some first aid here, which is a supply, and we can use this card to heal damage. So we will put that in our lower row. It's a little bit off camera here. We have another cowboy here, Moses Tracker. He's smart and strong, and he can inflict the sedate, the dazed. He can inflict the dazed trait on the alien, the status there. We have a lucky hat. So this is gear. Gear can be given to one of the cowboys. We have Clyde Doggett. He's smart, but he's also a coward. He can scavenge, he can draw a card, and he can plan. He can add 3 dice to our pool. And we have a revolver, and we have Flint Westwood. He's strong and courageous, and he has a finisher. If the alien is wounded at all, he can do 5 damage. So we have a pretty good starting hand here. So we can kind of decide who we want fighting and who we want in our reserve. The most cowboys we can have in total in our posse is 4. I'm going to keep all of these out right now. And then I'm also going to give, let's see, the lucky hat is when the cowboy, this card is attached to attacks, you may re-roll any 1 die. Okay, so we want to give this to a cowboy who can do some really good attacks, or this guy here, any keyword is actually an attack. So for an attack, he can scavenge. For an attack, he can plan. For an attack, he can sedate. This guy doesn't have any attacks, but he can do a basic kind of fist punch if they don't have anything listed. For an attack, this guy can do a finisher if the alien has taken 5 wounded conditions. So I think I might actually give this hat to this guy Clyde Doggett, because drawing a card and adding 3 dice to your pool is pretty big. So I'm going to give him the hat there. I'll put that next to him there. And I think I'm going to go ahead and give Smith here the revolver. So these 2 guys are going to be fighting with their normal attacks there. And we're going to keep this in our supplies. We can have up to 4 cards in our supply. Now these conditions, there are 4 different conditions. You're going to have dazed, you're going to have restrained. So dazed, the conditions are all listed in the book. There's one thing I wish this game came with. I wish this game came with more information cards, because there are quite a few things that you do have to remember, a few rules that could have been easily listed on a couple information cards that would have made the gameplay much easier until you memorized them. But instead, we kind of have to keep going back to the book in order to look up the different things. But let's go over the different conditions here. So we have restrained. If we have an attack that causes restrain, or causes the alien to become restrained, then the alien can no longer move towards our village if it even if it gets to in its attack. So that's a way to keep the alien away from our town. Additionally, the alien can become dazed, and if the alien is dazed, then on its attack, it cannot deal any damage. Also, the alien can become wounded. If the alien is wounded, it cannot heal. And if the alien is distracted, it rolls fewer dice when it is its turn to attack. And you keep track of how many instances of each one of these conditions is applied to the alien using these yellow D6. So you can go all the way up to 6 instances of being restrained. Sometimes the alien will heal itself of conditions. When it does that, you lower that by 1 each one. Then the alien is going to use its dice to attack, and then we get to use a number of white d6 depending on how many active cowboys we have fighting. So when you have 4 active cowboys, you get to do all 6 dice for your attack. And that is pretty much the setup. It's a pretty easy game to set up and to get going. And so what you do is you start by the alien makes its statement, which is an odd way of saying is the alien makes its attack. And so what you do is you roll a number of dice based on its threat level. And so in this instance, we have a threat level of 4. It's going to roll 4 dice, and we are going to total those up. Ooh, ouch. Okay, so 12, 13, and 16. So then we look at what it does. 16. Okay, so this is really bad. It does smash, surprise, and fear. So this is a really good instance of where I wish all of those, I think actually those are listed on the card here. Yeah. So it does all 3 of these conditions. So smash, if it applies those to all cowboys, but if the cowboy is strong, the cowboy takes no damage. If it's weak, it takes 2 damage. If it's neither of those, it takes 1 damage. Okay, so Smythe is strong, so he takes no damage. Moses Tracker is strong, he takes no damage. Flint Eastwood is strong, he takes no damage. This guy here, Clyde, he is not strong, but he is also not weak, so he just takes 1 damage. So we're going to put 1 damage on Clyde there. Okay, then it does surprise. If it's smart, no damage. If it's dense, 2 damage. If it's neither, 1 damage. Okay, so smart, no damage. Smart, no damage. Strong and courageous, so neither. So it's going to take 1 damage. And then smart, no damage. And finally, the alien is going to cause fear. And again, if the cowboy is courageous, no damage. Or if it's a coward, 2 damage. Okay, so this is kind of bad right off the bat here. But Smith is courageous, so no damage. Smart or strong, neither of those, so it's going to take 1 damage. Strong or courageous, so it's going to take no damage. And he is a coward. Unfortunately, he's going to take 2 more damage, which that puts him up to 3. He is immediately killed. So that was a really bad attack. Even though I was able to block a lot of the damage, the alien did end up killing Clyde. So we remove Clyde from our posse, and we also lose that lucky hat. So I think actually we are going to keep him alive though. Let's do that because we can play this at any time to heal 2 damage. So we're going to prevent 2 of those damage from killing Clyde there. And so he will only have 1 damage left. All right, so that was the alien's turn. So now it is our turn. So we have all 4 of our cowboys in our active posse, and we get to have 6 dice. And what you do is you pick a number of dice and assign that to a certain attack listed on your cowboy. And a 1 or a 2 is a successful attack, and you get to do what it says for that attack. So the more dice you roll for an attack, the better the chances you are of rolling a 1 or a 2. However, if you don't roll a 1 or a 2, you add up the value of all the dice, and then that monster gets to do its attack back to you. Additionally, if you roll a 1, well then you get to be, it's like a super attack. You gain momentum where you get to heal. And if you don't have any damage, then you get to take one of these blue chips, which is kind of like armor, and that counts as an additional hit that cowboy can take. So you have to think about how you want to divide your dice up to the attacks. So because he has a finisher, if he has 5, if the alien has a wounded condition, then this attack does 5 damage. And Smith's revolver, as a shootout ability, it does 1 damage and is wounded. So that's a really good combo that we have right now that we can do. So let's say that we really want to apply this damage here. And so I'm going to assign 3 dice to this attack. So I roll 3 and I'm looking for a 1 or a 2. Okay, so there is a 2. So any 2 or any 1 means that's a successful attack. So we did 1 damage to the alien. I'm going to move that down. And we apply 1 condition of wounded to the alien. Okay, so now we can say, now we want Flint Eastwood to make his attack because the alien is wounded. So we're going to roll 3 dice, and we're going to look for 1 or 2. So there is a 1. So if it's wounded, then you do 5 damage. So we can lower this by 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that was a pretty good first round there. And also I rolled a 1, so that means that I have momentum, so I can heal one of these yellow chips. So now after the cowboy phase, then we go into the replenish phase, where I can draw 1 card. And I drew extra resources. So add 4 dice from the discard pile to your pool. Okay, so this will help me later on. If I have fewer cowboys, I can add any dice that aren't out on the table to my pool in order to use them. And that is a 1-use card. And then we continue to repeat that. We go back to the alien, then we go back to us, back to the alien, and so on. And there are a lot of different combos. Let's take a look at Clyde. So these, even though these are attacks, they don't do any damage. But if you wanted to draw a card, you could say, I'm going to spend 3 dice on Clyde to try to scavenge. And if you rolled a 1 or a 2, you could scavenge. However, he didn't. He rolled a 17, which is really bad. So I would have had to apply smash, surprise, and fear once again. Or he could also plan to add 3 dice to your pool as a special attack. So a lot of the cowboys have different special attacks like beat down and damage. Like I said, if they don't have any attack, then they just do a basic kind of a punch, and that does a single attack. There are a few things that all cowboys can do, even if it doesn't say. There's another thing you can do. It's called going all in, and this is a way to boost your attack, where a die roll of a 1, 2, or a 3 counts as a success, but you also take a damage even if you are successful. That's the other one. If you roll a 1 when you go all in, you don't get that blue chip. You don't get to gather momentum. Another thing that can't happen is a single cowboy can never attack more than once in a row. So if you only have 1 cowboy out, you only get 1 attack, even if you have multiple dice to use. But all the cowboys and all of the weapons and stuff have different abilities. Beat down, tack, 3 damage. Hit this. The real big gun can do heavy fire, which does 3 damage and a wound. A wake up, a blast. If the alien is dazed, then it does 5 more damage. General Booth, he's smart. He has a charge for 4 damage. Must have at least 3 active cowboys. A rope helps you apply restrain to the alien. Roundup, if the alien is restrained, then it does a 2 retreat, which will push the alien back towards the cliff. You have a dog that can do certain things. A tranquilizer will apply dazed. So all kinds of different things to do. And each turn you really do have to think about the way you're going to use your attacks, the way you're going to apply the damage, the order in which your cowboys are going to attack. If they're damaged during the replenishment phase, you can move them down into the reserves to where they can heal that damage, and then next turn they can come back up. So you're kind of like rotating in and out of action. And the aliens, they all have different attacks that they're going to do depending on what they roll there. This level 5 alien is very difficult. A lot of times they will advance towards your town, and again, if they get into the town, you lose. But it's a pretty fun little game. I have quite a fun. It's simple, but I think there are a lot of choices, and there are a lot of choices to make that help mitigate the luck. Because you have to think about how many dice you're going to roll and balance that off with if you miss, the chances are if you roll more dice, you're going to roll a higher value for the alien to do its counter attack. There's a lot of little decisions to make, more decisions to make here than I think in History Make Golf. And while you're reading the rules, it seems a little basic. But once you start playing, a lot of little nuance comes out, and it's actually a really fun little game, and it doesn't take up a lot of table space either. I do feel that it is a little expensive for what you get. There is a little expansion that comes with more cards, But the game is, I think it's close to $40, and that's a lot of money. That is an expensive game for what you get. I could easily recommend this game as a great small box game at less than 30, up to $30, I think. Maybe 25, 25.99, somewhere around there, 30 bucks, 25 to $30 I could recommend. But at 40, I have a little difficult time recommending it. One thing, the back of the box says that it came with 12 desperation cards, and my copy did not come with those desperation cards. So I emailed them and I said, hey, I think you sent me an incomplete copy. It didn't come with the desperation cards. And they said, oh, we need to correct the box. The desperation cards are no longer part of the game design, but they sent them to me anyways. And I think these should be part of the game. And hopefully they see this review and they listen to what I'm about to say, because as a story game, this little deck here, I think adds a lot of charm and a lot of theme. So this little deck here is kind of like a last ditch effort for the Cowboys. When they have lost the game, you can shuffle up this deck and draw a card, and it says it can't end like this. Intergalactic emergency forces aliens to retreat before it can enjoy victory. Revive the last 2 KO'd Cowboys if none have survived. So this is like a little chance for you to continue, a little heroic moment that the Cowboys get to enjoy if they lose the game. And I think this is pretty cool. And for a thematic story-based game, something like this goes a really long way in helping to solidify and helping to create a kind of fun and heroic lasting memory to a game that went south. So I would encourage the designers to actually put this little deck of cards back into the game, or at least offer it as a print on demand, a free print on demand little expansion that people who have purchased the game can print out and download and download a printout and use in their games. But yeah, like I said, Twisted Fate, Cowboys and Aliens, a fun little game, lots of good decisions, lots of fun, good cards, good variety of powers and abilities, and you do have to think a little bit. There is a good amount of luck, so the luck is fun, but you do also have to mitigate, and there are ways to mitigate the luck. But for what you get, I think it is just a little bit too expensive for me to say go out and buy it. If it was, like I said, if it was like 20 to 25 bucks, maybe 30, I could totally recommend this as a really cool experience in a small box. At the price it is now, it's more of a hesitant. I'm more hesitant to recommend it. But if it looks interesting, especially if you guys are into like Shadows of Brimstone and Weird Wests, and you guys know I am, so the theme really hit for me, then you might want to take a look at it. So, all right, well, that was a look at Twisted Fate, Cowboys and Aliens. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we will talk to you later. Bye-bye.